Okay, so we know why we need a cognitive toolbox. We know why we need to hold beliefs that are consistent with reality. Um, we know our first tool, which is Occam's razor, the law of parsimony, and we know why that's an important tool because our brains make different types of errors and handle them differently. So, oh, and we also know the one thing we can know with any certainty, and that's that I exist. So now it's time to make our very first assumption, and that is that objective reality exists. There is something real outside of my own mind. Now, like I said before, we can't know that with certainty. We could be plugged into the Matrix, we could be brains in a vat plugged into a reality simulator, we could even be just intangible thinking material that just exists somehow and thinks for itself. But believing objective reality exists is a useful assumption to make. We know we're experiencing something, so it would be useful to learn some stuff about what we're experiencing. We know we can, or we think we can interact with it, so it's helpful to form beliefs about this external world that we're interacting with. And it's also a safe assumption to make because it fulfills Occam's razor. We aren't creating any new assumption, we're not creating more assumptions than are necessary to explain the evidence. So if we were to believe that we were in the Matrix or that we were brains in a vat, we'd have to be assuming something more than just there is this outside world that we're touching. We're assuming that we're plugged into some artificial simulator. And that's an assumption that has no evidence, and even though it's just as, I guess, just as possible to be true as, that we're actually in reality, it's introducing new assumptions that don't affect the story at all. They don't give any new evidence, or they can't, and it wouldn't even change the way you act, because even if you're in the Matrix, you're going to interact with the Matrix exactly like you would if you're in the real world. So, assuming objective reality exists is a useful assumption to make.